You're about to listen to Whiskey Hell Podcast, a show centered on recent news, excellent craft beer, and absolute debauchery. While the guys are getting ready, you can reach them on Twitter at whiskey_hell. You can also go to the whiskeyhellpod.com or email them at whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. At the end, be sure to drop them a review as a thank you for the content. Looks like they're ready. Enjoy the show, and listener discretion is advised.
Saturday night, it is 7:24. This is your weekly wrap-up. This is Whiskey Hell Podcast. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz.
Fitz, we've got we thought this was going to be a week where we just had it was a nice, pleasant show that was just kind of coming together and everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, the last 2 days, we've had some really strange stuff that popped up. So I think we've got a pretty big week here.
Yeah, I equate it to, in the Navy, we had these community showers, right? Okay. And you get like 20 seconds at each shower head, so you're constantly moving, right? I mean, you got to plan it out. You got 3 shower heads over here, you got 3 over there. So on the right side, you do all your soaping up, and then by the time you get over to the other side, you better start rinsing. And then, everything's going according to plan. And then, whoop, someone sticks something up your butt. And you didn't see it coming. It's not necessarily unwelcomed, but you'd like a warning every once in a while. That's kind of what this week's news was like.
What's the typical warning? Is that like a tap on the shoulder? It was like two fingers on the shoulder? Or
I mean, at least like you get to hear the, the spitting on the palm or something.
God. What's funny? As soon as you said communal showers, I went back to the movie Porky's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's where my mind went. I'm glad you definitely steered me away from that, though.
Well, actually, Porky's would have been much more desirable. I really don't know why I went there. I just did. So, and nothing ever got inserted, as far as I know, to anybody that I knew there. There were rumors and stuff, but I had a pretty good crew. We were all pretty respectful.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
At least ask first. That's really what you got to do.
That's it. Yep.
Lots of news. We got banning of TikTok to discuss. Nuclear fusion's a thing, apparently. Boners for brains.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into it. Yeah. Boners for brains. That one's kind of actually interesting. I'm very interested in this concept. And we will definitely hit that one.
Yep. Tons of stuff to get into. But let's go ahead and start with the beers first. What are you drinking over there?
Oh, God damn it. You caught me off guard, man. Caught me off guard. Let me crack this bitch open. What I am drinking is my local store my favorite store that I go to, they have the beers kind of in sections, which I like. It's one of the things I like about the store, because when you're looking for some stouts or some porters, it's nice that they're all sectioned together.
Yes. As
opposed to some stores just put everything in alphabetical order, or what's even more chaotic is they just put them wherever the fuck they feel like putting them.
Right.
And so it's a hunt and peck thing. And so anyway, my store keeps all the stouts and porters together, which is great. But as of this last week, right next to that section, there's a rack, like, those bakery racks that you can get at Costco or whatever, but they use them in bakeries to hold all their breads and doughs. And
right.
One of those is full of it's all Christmas beers, winter warmers, fucking stuff you can't pronounce from like Germany and Sweden, like winter ales and stuff. I easily, McShane, I easily could have dropped $150 just
Oh,
if I'd have bought one of everything on that rack, which I had to stop myself. I had to just get the
right.
fuck out of there because it was insane. But on that rack was sitting an old familiar, but a new familiar. This is a Yeti, which we've talked about the Yeti many times on the show, but this is the first time I have seen the gingerbread Yeti.
Ooh.
So this is an imperial stout brewed with spices, vanilla, and honey. How could I not go after this thing? It's by Great Divide. That's who makes all the Yetis. It's a 9.5%er, so not huge, but respectable. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. That's exactly what the can looks like.
That's very
Beautiful,
cool.
beautiful. So anyway, that's what I had to go for, and I thought it'd be a great opener for tonight. So here we go.
That sounds awesome. So you guys can go to greatdivide.com, look up Yeti. That's their base
Oh,
beer for their stouts, and then they're doing all these different kinds of stouts. How is that
mm.
one?
Oh, dude, keep talking. I'm
Okay.
I'm enjoying myself too much over here.
All right. All right. All
Mm.
right. But they've got all kinds Mexican stouts. They've got chocolate stouts, coffee stouts with it. I mean, they're all over the place. But it's a great base that they've chosen to kind of play with. So that's neat.
Okay. How do they do this? I am literally tasting a gingerbread cookie, and I mean even to the point that I'm feeling like it's a little bit of a burnt gingerbread cookie, which I like my gingerbread cookies a little on the burnt side. I like them, you know, darker. I like my gingerbread cookies like I like my women.
A little bit, a little on the dark or
Yeah,
burnt.
darker, burnt, tough. Little hard to chew through. Very spicy. The really honestly, they did a great job with the spices here. I was gonna go to the point of like saying I feel like I'm having sex with a gingerbread cookie, but that's not. I don't. That doesn't sound like much fun. Really, what
Probably
I'm doing.
not.
No, no. Really, what I'm doing here is I'm making out with a gingerbread cookie.
Okay.
I'm making out with it. There's heavy petting. There's definitely gonna be frosting at the end of this. It's just a wow, what a great beer. Great job. Great divide again. These guys, you really can't miss when you have that solid of a base, like you were saying. And then you just play with it, just have fun. And they did with this one. So good. Very well done. Whew. Man, I made a good choice.
Fantastic.
Uh what about you? What do you got over there for your first lead off hitter?
So I'm going with an imperial porter.
Mm.
You don't see too many of them, but this is a old
Mm-mm.
standby. It's
Oh
only an
yeah.
8%er, but it's bacon and eggs from
Yep.
Pizza Port.
Yep.
Big time coffee, lots of coffee, and coffee is going to be a theme tonight. So
Okay. Okay.
that's where we're going with it. But
Okay.
easy drinker. Now, one of the smells that I associate with a cafe or a coffee shop is not just the coffee, but it's the ground coffee, like freshly ground coffee.
Sure.
And you get a whiff of that in this one, and then you get the coffee notes. It's super dark beer. Um, Head was just as it was described, nice big tan head, but it smells like coffee. And it's not it's a rich smell too. It's not like they just it's not a token coffee beer. That it's good. I like it.
Love it. Love it. I have had that beer actually. That one's
Okay.
been around for a while. That's one of their standbys.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and uh, and I believe, I mean, I'm dating us here. I'm taking us way back, but I believe we shared that beer on a drunkard's call way back when, way back before the kids were born.
That you may be right on that. I would not be surprised. That was like 20 years ago almost. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
man.
Pizza Port's been around that long. I mean,
Yeah, they
they're
have. Yeah, they're legit.
well, good stuff. It's a good start to
Well,
the show.
yeah, great start. I'm very happy. Very happy. This is This is a great start. All right. What do we got here on the news? I know sometimes we like to go in order. Can we start? While I've got my faculties about me, I would like to start with the nuclear fission.
Okay. One of the greatest ads ever. Should we just play it?
Do that, and then we are going to discuss.
Let's get into it. This is from NBC Nightly News.
Nuclear scientists call it the holy grail of clean energy they've been chasing for decades. NBC News confirming the Department of Energy is expected to announce tomorrow that researchers at the Lawrence Livermore National Lab in California have used lasers to produce a nuclear fusion reaction that creates energy. A huge breakthrough in producing an endless supply of clean, cheap power without radioactive waste or fossil fuel emissions.
This is a hurrah moment for humanity, and it's going to create the backbone of stable, reliable power 24/7 to drive that entire ecosystem of electrified things.
Governments have spent billions of dollars chasing the fusion dream, trying to replicate how the sun produces energy. While it's unlikely fusion could be used in cars, scientists say once fully developed, it could power entire cities and the batteries inside our cars. But that could take a decade or more.
If we had fusion, we could drop fossil fuels immediately and forever, right? It would be game over. We would have all the energy we needed, more than all the energy we needed.
News that researchers in a national laboratory made the breakthrough a boost to President Biden's efforts to go green. Scientists say it will take time to develop the massive fusion power plants that would power entire cities. But that's an engineering challenge. They've already made now the breakthrough discovery to start the process.
All right. Well, there you have it. Nuclear fusion, Fitz. We got it. Look at it.
Bam. That's a that's a big W for the Bidens. Or is it? Here's my understanding of what happened and what they did that they haven't been able to do before. And to put this into context, the Chinese have been working on this for at least 2 decades, maybe more. And they did have that. Remember that weird video that came out of they basically created a sun. They had that ship out in the bay.
Yeah, we talked about that last year.
Right.
Yep.
And they had that. So they've been kind of already ahead of us on this. But basically, my understanding is scientists shot lasers at this reactive material. I don't even remember what it's called. We will get that for you. But shot lasers at this thing, and they put, let's say, 100 gigawatts of energy into this thing. It wasn't that. I don't think it was that much, but let's say that's what it was. They got out 150. So they got a whole 50% more than they put into it. So that's actually, on the surface, that's a really amazing thing. We could really do something with that. The problem is it lasted for like 1/1 billionth of a second. So you're not talking about any sort of sustained fusion. You're talking about literally a flash that they had to have highly sophisticated cameras and computers to even register that it happened. I mean, is that a win? I mean,
we're not getting this thing we're probably not going to get this in even our lifetime.
Well, I like how they talk about, within a decade, and this is just a simple engineering problem. Dude, I'm here to tell you, bro, it's way more than a simple engineering problem. You're going to have to find a way to sustain that thing and sustain it on a big enough scale. They're talking about powering cities. Do you know how many megawatts of energy it takes to power a city like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Las Vegas? And those are just a few of the bigger ones. Of course, we know all the big cities around the country. So, I mean, even just to power this small town of Eugene, they're not even close to it.
I don't. Yeah. It was a fantastic ad. It was very exciting, full of really cool buzzwords.
Yeah,
It came out on, what was it, Monday? I think was that when I think all this dropped.
I believe so.
December 13th. So that would have been it was like Tuesday or something. Um, this isn't going anywhere. It's
No.
not. It's not. And dropping fossil fuels when
Right.
you're talking about, again, all of these things to tackle climate change, whatever. We really, really want to drop all the fossil fuels. And you know what? Someday we might. But it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen in 10 years. It's not going to happen in 20 years. All this legislative action is taking place to make it, like all the shit that's happening in California, that they're trying to rule out fossil fuel vehicles.
Right.
You don't have the infrastructure for it.
Nope.
You're making assumptions. You're writing checks on other people's on the future of people 20, 30, 40 years from now. And it's just ridiculous. This was cool. It was pretty. It doesn't do anything else, though. You're not going to stick one of these things out in the middle of, the Sudan, okay, and be able to power everybody around it. It's not going to happen. Not now. It's going to be a really long time out in the future. We're talking hundreds of years, maybe. Maybe 100 years from now. Maybe you got something like that. This was frustrating.
Yep.
Because it was just bullshit.
Totally. So deuterium and tritium were the two those were the two elements that they used to light on fire, basically. What they're trying to do is create a little mini sun, a little mini star that is sustainable and creates this amazing energy source like our sun does. The problem is, with something like the sun, it sustains itself because of the sheer gravity of the thing. We don't have that ability to make that. Yeah, you covered it all. This is we're batting way out of our league here. We're a single A player trying to make it in the majors. There's no way. So, like you said, really nice soundbite. Really, nice way to pump up the Biden administration, pump up Gavin Newsom over there and say, see, it is possible to get rid of all the vehicles, all the, fossil fuel vehicles by 2035. They're all smoking crack. And I mean that probably literally.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I mean, judging by Hunter Biden,
Hey, where do you find tritium?
Tritium is it does not exist abundantly in nature. We actually have to make it. We have to create another fusion chemical, well, not a chemical reaction, a fusion reaction inside of lithium in order to make tritium. So there again, we're going back to lithium, which is a finite substance on this planet. There are not an infinite number of lithium mines. There just aren't.
Where are most of the lithium mines? Let's look at that.
I believe Africa, which again gets us into those horrible scenes that we've all seen, or maybe folks haven't seen, of these kids just out there working these mines, and they get paid, pennies for every, pound or whatever they pull out of the ground. And it's terrible conditions. It's raining on these kids. They're not eating well. They're malnourished just in general. They're, if they do get food, it's rice. Yeah, yikes.
So
Yikes.
We've got Australia, Chile, China, Argentina,
nice,
Zimbabwe, and Portugal.
Yeah, Zimbabwe was the one that was the mine that I saw. Wow, was that terrible to see? I don't know what's going on in Australia. I mean, I don't even know if they're mining it. And again, are we trampling all over, ancient Aboriginal lands to go find this shit just so we can have fucking cell phones or so we can make a fake sun?
I was just trying to reverse engineer it. Who does that story actually benefit?
Mm.
Obviously, California. Obviously, Biden.
Yeah, and in today's world, I wouldn't even say it would benefit the country that has the stuff as much as it would benefit the mining companies that are going to go in and mine the stuff. I mean,
Right.
sure, the country's going to get some kickbacks. I mean, that, of
Absolutely.
course, but not nearly the profit margin that those mining companies are going to get, because they're going to bring in super cheap labor,
Right.
and basically slave labor, and dig the giant holes in the ground. What's up, Hefe? We got a Hefe sighting.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good. We just called bullshit on nuclear fusion.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's not real?
Well, no, it's real.
It's real. Yeah.
It's real. It's just not practical yet, and everybody just says it's practical. And hey, this is going to be everything. This is all going to change in 10 years. It's not. So, at least in our opinion, it's not. Our uneducated opinions, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no scientist. Clearly, I have an interest in science, and that's as far as it goes. But I have enough of an interest in science to actually, do some deep dives and find out really what happened. Was it was a flash in the pan, and everybody's stroking each other, saying, "Hey, we got an orgy," and really, what you have is a 16-year-old boy in virtual reality jerking off to himself. I have no idea where that analogy came from, but there it is.
I like it.
Hefe, when you go back and listen, I am very sexual tonight. I don't know what the deal is. I guess most nights I am. I guess I shouldn't qualify that, because most nights that's where I'm at, where my head's at. Anyway, how's the night going?
It's going okay so far. Yeah, it's going okay.
Not as good as last night. Last night was a good night for you.
Yeah, last night was really good. Not yet, but it's still early,
Sure. It is early.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, we'll see.
Do you want to talk about porn being banned, or do you want to talk about banning TikTok? Which one would you like to tackle?
Either way, we're banning something.
Yeah, something's getting banned.
Yeah.
Those are my choices. I'm gonna go. Let's go with porn.
Okay.
You knew I was gonna say that.
Yeah, we did.
Senator Mike Lee this week introduced the Interstate Obscenity Definition Act, a bill that nominally aims to establish a national definition of obscenity, but which would, in effect, outlaw all online sexual content nationwide. How do we feel about that, guys?
I mean, first of all, I'm going to say the word. It's impossible to do. I mean, you show me a 10-foot wall, I'll show you a 12-foot ladder, right? I mean, if you push this stuff underground, not only is it still going to happen, it's going to get real dark and real dirty real fast.
Yep, exactly.
Because then if all of it's illegal, well, then the shit that was illegal before is just going to be part of all of it. And you're going to see all kinds of snuff videos and child porn. And I mean, all the stuff that we shouldn't be seeing at all. It's all going to exist on a grand scale. And so I think it's impossible. And secondly, like, fuck you. Don't put your moral shit on me.
Yep. Yeah, that's the part I don't get. Like, what? There's nothing more important for you to worry about, you douchebag.
Right. It's not like we have a war going on that we're sending billions of dollars to, which I think we'll talk about later. Or that we have, China over there out competing us on just about every level in the economy. No, why would we worry about that? Let's worry about, us or anybody looking at another person having sex with another person consensually.
Yeah.
Why would we want to have that be legal?
So the proposed law would be defined as obscene content as any material that, one, taken as a whole, appeals to the prurient interest in nudity, sex, or excretion. 2, depicts, describes, or represents actual or simulated sexual acts with the objective intent to arouse, titillate, or gratify the sexual desires of a person. And 3, taken as a whole, lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value.
First of all, fuck off is right. And we do not use the word titillate nearly enough on this show. That needs to be like a mainstay here on this show from now on. I was titillated by this beer. I mean, you guys can hear it, right?
Yeah.
Titillating.
And it's funny because there are people in our society right now who are literally aroused by a white picket fence, right? We had that story. That woman married the white picket fence.
Yep. And a 747.
She married a 747. So what exactly are you talking about, Senator? Can you really put a cage around what is arousing and what isn't? What looks like simulated sex and what doesn't? Because, hey, I could do an OnlyFans page where, I get out of the shower every day and I check myself for testicular cancer. I guarantee there's going to be a lot of people getting off on that. But, hey, all I'm
How much are you going to charge
doing
for that?
is checking my balls. Easily downloadable for $15 a month.
It's a hell of
And what's fun about it, what's fun about it is sometimes I take a cold shower. You get the tiny turtle, and then sometimes I take a hot shower and you get the full Monty. You get the snake.
Those are some good days.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
And everybody's going to find their thing.
Literally.
I mean, can you imagine that Twitter account? Like, oh, I like the days when he's all shrunken and shrivelly. It's just so cute.
Yeah.
And then no, I like the days when he's like fully erect and, just checking for testicular cancer makes him excrete. Because I think that was one of the words he used too, excretion. So I can't pop zits anymore? I can't spit? I can't cry?
No. As long as it has artistic value or scientific value.
Well,
so we did a poll.
Anyway.
We did a poll.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Our listeners, as usual, they came through, and we've got some feedback we want to get into too. Senator Mike Lee of Utah wants to ban internet porn in a bill he just proposed. Should internet porn be banned? 9.7% of our listeners said yes. 90.3% said no. 62 votes.
That's one of our highest vote totals too. People were energized by this one.
It totally were.
Yeah.
So, and I'm thinking the yeses may have been just trolling. It was everybody was very passionate about it. Mike, wheelbarrow full of dicks. How do you ban it? Tell service providers to block access to certain sites? Who makes the list? Twitter and Reddit have tons of porn on them. Can we still buy DVDs on eBay? Good
point, Mike. Great point. I mean, you're going to ban it on the internet, but like I said, we'll find a way. I mean, water will always find a way down into the rock. And I mean, it'll be on thumb drives that people will pass in crowded airports. They'll find a way.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, they'll probably try to ban the other stuff, next. Like, this is just step one.
Well, that's also a valid point.
Well, we're banning books.
Yep.
We got to ban porn, and probably right after that we're gonna have to make sure alcohol's gone. Where do you stop? It's like every so many years the do-rights have to come out, and they have to go ahead and wage this stupid little war. It's either on porno mags, it's been on strippers. In your argument that it's just going to push this stuff into the dark, seedier places, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. And why do we have to be so goddamn uptight about it? So what if somebody likes watching porn? It doesn't hurt anybody else.
No.
I mean, there's some illegal stuff that obviously hurts other, there are byproducts. There are stuff that does that isn't good. But
but the non-exploitive stuff.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Stew World Order. Another podcast. It's about time someone stepped up to stop all these school pornings we have every year. I'm sorry, what? It's school shootings, you say. How will this help those? Oh, it won't. Okay, then. So he moved on with that.
Yeah.
Going back to you have better things to do.
Good point. Great point.
Irresponsible podcast. Mike is a dumbass. Maybe I should make a bill to get rid of all the strip clubs and alcohol and pills so he can't enjoy them anymore. Also, Mike, if you don't want to look at it, don't fucking watch it. Jesus Christ. And this is Senator Mike Lee was in all these responses. So I really, really, really love that everybody was talking right back to the senator from Utah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. I love that they tagged us and him because fuck him.
Yep. Sonia Bean, I think it should have stricter access and harder to upload your personal porn. There should be multi-step age verification for all actors and viewers. I believe the access is probably the scariest part of it because my kids can get into it way too easy. And it doesn't matter what I do on my home network to block it. So I'd love for that to be a little bit more difficult. I do agree with that. But,
that's a valid point.
But I don't believe that this is something that banning is going to help a damn thing.
Well, I mean, it's the whole thing too. Like, okay, there's people dying in shootings, so let's ban all guns. That's not going to stop people hurting other people. Like, you're missing the fucking point. And I feel like this is doing the same thing. Like, yeah, there's some bad things that are happening out in the porn world. And so, but by banning all porn, you're not going to make things better. You're going to make them worse.
You're going to make them worse. That's what happens when you go out and start banning stuff, or you start having to legislate against it. I could be wrong, and this is going to have to be something that we maybe look into. Okay, and I think we're going to have an opportunity soon to look into this. I believe that porn is actually safer now, especially for the actors, than it ever has been.
Yes.
So if anything, we're actually in a better place. So I would love to get some other opinions on what can be done, maybe, if it is an actual problem, but banning's not the way to go about it.
No. Hey, incidentally, what's really weird is that, I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but I have nicknamed my asshole, my butthole. I've nicknamed it Clee. And so this is from Senator Mike Lee. And so he's Senator My Butthole.
That was a long walk.
Thanks.
Wow.
I've been sitting here thinking about it. I've been sitting here playing on that one. So thanks for recognizing. I feel good about it.
Mike Lee.
Mike Lee. Yep.
Mike Lee.
Thanks, Senator.
I haven't named my butthole yet. I feel like if you bleach your butthole, does that change the name?
What, dude? That's racist.
God damn it, Steve.
Jesus, man, we can't take you anywhere.
You guys do that.
Equal rights for
a question.
Equal rights for all assholes. I don't care if they're black, red, white, orange. Every butthole deserves equal penetration and or exiting rights.
I don't know if I can come back on this show my next break.
Right? I'm offended.
That was ugly.
I'd like to personally apologize to all the buttholes out there that might have been offended by by the words, my poor choice of words. This is going to be our show tonight.
I'm glad you're here for this because I need a mind like yours to wrap around a problem like that. A mathematical mind.
Mm-hmm. I think you may be right. I'll have to think about it while I'm on the tables out there.
Yeah, please do. You're going to be doing the exchange rates wrong and giving people too much money.
I'm sorry, my mind is somewhere else. Would you like to know where?
I was thinking about butt pods. Well, anyway, Mike Clee, you can shove it. It's never gonna happen. First of all, he's talking to like our politicians, right? The United States Senate.
Right.
Does he know how depraved and awful those people are? How many of them do you think have not watched porn today? One? And it's Mike Lee.
Are you talking to the senator now, or are you talking to your butthole? I'm confused.
anybody who will listen at this point, because I think we lost a bunch of people on that last turn.
Well, I'm done listening. I got to go back to work.
All right, man. We'll see you in a bit.
We'll see you later.
All right. See ya.
All right. Well, I think this is a fantastic time to kick it out to our sponsors and let them have a few words. All right. So with that, I didn't get into the Pornhub most searched terms this year.
Yeah, these always interest me because Pornhub doesn't just break it down by categories; they break it down by like what was the most searched category in your state, which I think is interesting.
Right.
Because different regions have different, what's kinks.
Let me bring up the Pornhub stats 2022, their year in review. This actually came out on December 8th, so it's just a couple days old. Let's do traffic and time on site. The United States by far has the most time.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's like not even close. Followed by the United Kingdom and France.
UK. Let's just say this, and I'm estimating here because I just see a graph. But if you're looking at the same graph I am, the UK, France, Japan, and Mexico probably all together don't total what the US does. They're the next four down.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The United States, let's see, lesbian overtook hentai from last year.
Oh, wow.
To become the number one search term. Ebony and Latina searches also grew ahead of Asian. So Asians are on the out, which might be part of the narrative of that China's bad, and so is, I mean, and then there's a lot of Asian hate too.
Sure. Yeah.
So that might have done it. Trending searches for the United States included gamer girl by 813%.
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised at that. And reverse cuckold, 396%. I don't even know what that means. I know what a cuck is.
Oh, let's
reverse
look
cuckold?
let's look over the reverse cuckold because this will be a nice education.
Is that the chick? Let's go look.
Do it.
Reverse cuckold. Well, all right. I'll play their silly game. Okay, so it's a girl watching another girl,
right?
Taking her
usually her husband.
Yeah.
So like a cuckold is like she blocks him from being able to, and this is like no, she has to watch him fuck the babysitter or the hot ebony neighbor.
Or usually she's the one who's getting drilled by somebody, and he's watching because he's the
right.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so that is a switch. That is a switch. I did not see that one coming here. Let's see here. What else we got? 2022 World Cup match traffic. Percent change in Pornhub traffic during each match when compared to an average day. So in Senegal,
look, the U.S. it doesn't affect us at all.
At all. We don't care at all.
Black Friday affected it more than anything.
Yeah. Serbia and
That's
Brazil.
funny.
That's fantastic. I love the stats they put out. I mean, I'm not even a big Pornhub fan, but the stats they put out are just fantastic. Holiday season traffic changes. Christmas Eve, 6 p.m. to midnight, 24%. Christmas Day, it's only 13%. New Year's Eve, 40%.
Yeah, because everyone's hoping to get laid that night, so they're saving up.
Yep, that's fantastic. So we'll put
it's
this
not
out
time
on the
for
site.
Yeah, it is. It's a what a sign of the times. Not only is porn basically 100% free, and you can search just about anything you're interested in. But then on top of it, because of the data hungry society we live in right now, you can get any stat you want basically.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they can break it down by what you're even looking at it on. It's crazy.
Let's see if we got anything else in here to take a look at. Oh, we've got it. Oh, by generation.
Oh, there you go.
Generation Z. Generation Z is big into threesomes, virtual reality, and cosplay.
Yep.
Gen Y, that's Asian. They're big into Asian, threesome, MILFs, and feet.
And otherwise known as millennials. That's Gen Y.
Yep. Gen X, which is us.
Yep.
Cream pie, MILFs, scissoring, and transgender.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Fisting's a close fifth.
And you know what? None of those are my category. I don't look at any of that.
Mm-mm.
So that's odd.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
But I mean, there's definitely a lot of people out there, and there's some weird shit. I'm not kink shaming at all. There's people out there that are into different things than I am.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So I dig it.
Boomers are big into hand jobs.
I could see that. They're all in the nursing home. They don't even have teeth to go down on each other, but they can use their hands still.
Well, but not having teeth, I would think that would be like even better.
Okay. I'm not going to don't even ask, because I'm not going to tell you where I got this information, but from my understanding is it's not better. It's not more fun.
Really? Okay. All right.
For the giver, it's rough on the gums.
Okay. All right. Babe. I wonder if that's like Babes or like the Babe the Pig. I don't know.
I hope it's not the pig. No, they don't allow that stuff on Pornhub.
Okay. Vintage, small tits, and pissing.
And anal.
And anal.
Oh yeah, casting couch makes us strong.
Yep.
Strong.
Right there at the
pulling up the rear there, so to speak.
So it's fantastic. Definitely suggest you guys go out there and take a look at it. Oh, wait. Most searched for porn stars by women. Oh, no, I want to. There we go. Viewed more by women compared to men. Scissoring, trans male transgender, solo male pussy licking, popular with women, lesbian toys fingering bisexual male, threesomes, reality hardcore, muscular men, bondage, gangbang. Scissoring's 155% of the time. That's what women want to see.
Yeah. And I mean, if I was a woman, that would be way sexier to me. It is way sexier to me than watching some dude just, sweat and grunt all over some poor girl. I'd much rather see two women, being intimate, and I mean, even if they get rough with it, they're always sexier than guys are.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's just more fun to watch in general.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and leave that one go. You guys can go out there. I'll make sure that that's in the show notes so we can go ahead and look at that. And where do you want to go next? Do you want to talk some fraud or?
Since
we want to talk about banning TikTok.
Yeah, since we're talking about banning stuff, let's go to TikTok, because this is another one where this seems more plausible to me, only from a political stance. And yet I just sit there and I shake my head and I'm like, it's never going to fucking happen. I mean, let's get to the story and then we'll kind of talk about what's already happened.
Well, so there's been a trend over the last couple of weeks that the ban TikTok camp has really gotten going. This is also, I'm guessing it's also fueled by the coming on strong of YouTube Shorts, Instagram stories, and I think even Twitter is trying to fire back with some kind of a short platform.
Yeah, well, and I mean, so is Facebook. Facebook has their stories or whatever. Yeah, and then on top of all of that, layered into all of that, is the fact that China is looking more and more like an adversary. And of course, we know TikTok is owned by a Chinese company, owned and developed by.
Right. Which, yeah. So ByteDance limits. Well, so we'll go back to what the actual story is. Republican Senator Marco Rubio on Tuesday announced bipartisan legislation to ban China's popular social media app, TikTok. ratcheting up pressure on owner ByteDance Limited amid U.S. fears the app could be used to spy on Americans and censor content. Now, we've talked about
No shit.
we've talked about TikTok being owned by China, and they've got our data, and they're probably most certainly pumping in influencers that pump up the story that they want pushed. I think it's pretty obvious that's the fact.
Sure. And we've known for a long time that TikTok in China is very different. If you are under the age of 16, all TikTok will show you, number one, there are time restrictions. You can only look at TikTok from like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Correct.
And then it shuts down. The other thing is the only thing it'll show you is like government propaganda, educational videos, like, you know, basic survival skills or stuff you learn in school, or like really super G-rated, you know, singing groups and entertainers. There's no girls in skimpy outfits. There's no conspiracy theorists getting on there. There's no, you know, just ridiculous bullshit. There's zero advertisements on Chinese TikTok. And so you come over to the States and you say, okay, they're not allowing their citizens to have this stuff, but we get inundated with it. And so I think there is a story here. I think there is an undertone of there's possibly some nefarious stuff going on here. And again, McShane, I fall back to, of course, just like there is with, I mean, don't fool yourselves. YouTube has some nefarious shit going on. Facebook has some nefarious shit going on. Instagram, they all do. And it takes a discerning connoisseur, somebody who can think for themselves, to be able to sift through all that. And I think what the government is saying right now is, we don't think our citizens, once again, we don't think you're smart enough to handle this, so we're going to go ahead and handle it from here. That's what they're saying.
The biggest difference in all of this is that YouTube is our company. You know, Facebook.
So is Facebook. Yeah.
So is Facebook. So is Twitter.
And in some ways, Facebook and Twitter, well, not Twitter so much anymore, although I don't know, maybe, but all those companies in some ways are worse than TikTok in propaganda and in influencing elections. I mean, Zuckerberg came out and said, yeah, we met with the FBI. And we know Twitter, the Twitter files are coming out like fucking gangbusters. Crazy shit coming out of that.
So have you seen anywhere along in this? Does the FBI, NSA have any trouble getting data collection from TikTok? Do we know that?
Ooh, that's a good question.
This just occurred to me because they can get data from Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, no problem.
You know, that's a really interesting thing to bring up, dude, because yeah, this could be a like, hey, they're not letting us see their data, so we want to shut them down, which seems much more plausible than they're trying to look out for the best interests of this country.
That's exactly. That's interesting. We're gonna have to see what we can dig up on that. A lot of governments around the country, local governments, are banning it. I think a couple places in Texas did recently.
Which, I mean, come on, if you have a government issued cell phone,
why are you watching it on there?
It shouldn't have TikTok on it anyway. Come on, that's taxpayer dollars.
I don't put it on my work phone. I don't want anything I want on my work phone. I don't want them to know anything.
Exactly. You're a sensible person who likes to keep work and pleasure separate because that's smart. That's what you do. You don't shit where you eat, folks. Wake up. Goodness gracious.
So we did put a poll out on this one and got some really good feedback. Another 64 votes. Now this one kind of surprised us because it was damn near 50-50 as far as banning TikTok or not banning it. Question was, with fears of data breaches in U.S. customers' data being used against the U.S., should TikTok U.S. be banned in the United States? It's under review by the government, and Congress is introducing a bill to ban it. 48.4% said to ban it. 51.6% said not to ban it.
Very close.
So I haven't said my feelings on it. And I am super torn on this because of the China factor.
Yep.
I know that's a factor. But Fitz, it is a personal desire of mine for it to be there because I love the content.
Me too.
I love streaming through it. I don't have anything on there that anybody, if you have my viewing data, I don't know what that's going to do other than if it has a location data, if there's some kind of location tracking on it.
Right.
You might know that. The fact that, I spend, maybe an hour on it at a time or, a half an hour before bed or whatever. I don't know how that's valuable. But I don't like the idea of another country, especially since ByteDance is so close to the Chinese government. I don't like them being able to get to any of that data. I don't know what they would do with it. I don't know what they would socially engineer with it.
And I guess that's the thing, right? We don't know. And so I'm right there with you. I'm very torn. I can honestly say that I am daily inspired by people on TikTok because, I'm not on there for the girls wearing nothing. And believe me, that pops up because it pops up for everybody's algorithm. But the stuff I like are the real human stories. The one gal that I follow that has Tourette's, and she's open and honest about her condition and what her triggers are and the struggles. She, does TikToks of her trying to bake a cake, and it's frustrating. It's a we all laugh and cry together because it's such a frustrating thing to watch. And then you get people on there that are out there saving pets, doing good work there, and people are making money off of TikTok. That's where I really get torn, is that some people are making a living off of this, and I'm not talking about influencers because fuck them, but I am talking about these people who put out daily content. It's good content. Just today, I got inspired. I sent you guys the video, but this girl is just, sitting in a room, and she's got a mixing board, and she just starts making noises and makes this fucking beautiful song. I told my wife, I'm like, I want a mixing board. I mean, I don't have her voice. I don't have her talent, but I just want to fuck around with it. That looks like so much fun.
Yep.
So there's stuff out there that really can be inspiring and can be just sheerly entertaining. And again, to your point, McShane, what the fuck is China getting out of that?
I mean, don't know.
Okay, now you know what kind of music I like. No, you don't. I liked that one song by her. I like all kinds of music. So I don't know really what nefarious things they could do with it. But again, that's the unknown. And so I'm not sure. And if TikTok went away tomorrow, would I be devastated? No, I wouldn't, because I know all of those creators would find another way, either through Instagram or YouTube or whatever. But it is, your question. I keep going back to the question you asked. Do we have access to that data as the U.S. government? And if we don't, that could be a major clue as to why we're trying to shut it down. That's a really good point.
I had to say it. One of our buddies' podcast. You guys definitely listen to it. It's a fantastic show.
Great show.
Dude always has great takes. TikTok should be banned because it encourages people to be friggin' morons. Prank videos, thirst traps, FAFO stuff. I mean, there is good with the bad, just like anything, but their algorithms spoon feed stupidity to the majority of their U.S. audience, and that is not an accident. I don't think it's an accident either. And with the way we've talked about that, the algo, everything's algorithm driven. It knows what content I want.
Yeah.
It's an amazing app in that respect. It's ridiculously interesting.
Yep.
That it can give me, 60% of the time it's big boob girls dancing. But there's other times where I get chefs doing some really fucking rad stuff.
Yes. Yep.
And then then there's other content in there that's obviously really really cool. But
Yeah.
it's I think if this was a time where we weren't trying to go toe to toe with China, I think it probably would not be as big a deal.
Agreed.
If this was 5 or 6 years ago, it wouldn't matter. I can guarantee you, after all the China stuff blows over, it's not going to matter either.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you're right on that. So two things that I've really been getting into. So this is the kind of fucking geek that I am. One thing is the lockpicking lawyer, which I've sent you guys a few of his videos.
Yep.
And he's got people out there, fans out there, who will just send him random locks, and he has to figure out if he can figure it out. Everything from like old school locks that were found in the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean in a shipwreck to like modern day biometric, high end locks that people are paying $200 for to send it to him. And I have yet to see him. Now, I'm not sure he would film himself, although he kind of seems like the kind of guy that would be like, hey, I found a lock that I couldn't pick. Because he definitely has had some on there that he's had trouble with. But anyway, so I've really been getting into him, which I've learned a lot. And I'm not saying I'm going to go out and be picking locks, but it is a really fascinating science. And then the other thing is this guy called, I think his tag is Not Your Man, but not is spelled like a knot in a rope, KNOT, Not Your Man.
Gotcha.
And and he just teaches all kinds of fucking knots that you can use in everyday life and that you would only use once in your life, but it might save somebody. Like just these incredible knots. That's all he does. Just shows you how to do knots. So I have ropes sitting here on the desk next to me, and I'll be watching his videos and practicing the knots. Now, where else am I going to find stuff like that? Probably on YouTube I could find some stuff, but I don't know. It's funny that they're singling out TikTok, and I think you're absolutely right. If we weren't going toe to toe with China right now, I don't think it would be an issue. But it is, and so here we are. It'll be really interesting to watch that story over the next few weeks. Because if our poll, and we had quite a few people respond to that poll, was pretty much split down the middle, 50-50. I don't wonder if it's not like that in Congress, then somebody's being bought off.
That'll be interesting to see. All right. Let's go ahead and throw it out to our sponsor. Well, wait, are you ready for a beer too? Or
I was just going to say, I think it's time for a beer break. I am not quite finished with this gingerbread loveliness, but we're kind of at that point in the show where we're about an hour in.
Yep.
And I feel like we're both due for something new. So let's go beer up. Here's a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with some more amazing content.
All right. So before we go to beer 2, how did that gingerbread do for you?
God damn, dude. That's one of those beers that it keeps getting better as it warms up, as it opens up. I don't know how they did it. I mean, but the spice balance is just perfect. It is still like just a gingerbread cookie right out of the oven. It's just amazing. And as earlier predicted, there is plenty of frosting on this gingerbread cookie now. It's wow, it did a number on me. What about you? How'd your beer finish up? That eggs and bacon.
Easy drinker.
Yeah.
Really good. It's a dry porter, but it definitely had a lot of coffee to it. Not a breakfast stout type of richness, but way more dry, like a porter. So I enjoyed it. I really did. No issues with it at all. It's a great one if you're looking at just keeping around easy drinking dark beer.
Yeah.
So I definitely suggest that.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing to just mention really quick. Again, this is not a show about beer or based on beer, but we definitely we bring our love of beer to this show. And that's one of the biggest differences between a porter. And again, this is a broad brushstroke. This isn't always, but porters generally finish drier and more crisply than stouts do, particularly when you get up into the imperial Imperial stouts do not finish clean. They're heavier, they're smoother, they linger. Imperial porters, they just finish quick. They're nice and dry, and what you get is what you get. Now there's some dry Irish stouts out there, and some other stouts that are made with just a bit different brewing techniques that can finish clean, but for the most part, that's how you can tell the difference between a porter and a stout, is that you're going to get a much cleaner, quicker finish off of a porter than you are a stout. So I just thought I would geek out a little bit for a second, because you did have an Imperial Porter, and for people out there wondering, well, what's the difference between that and an Imperial Stout? That's definitely one of the biggest differences.
Yep, it totally is. And the Imperial part is just it's just the higher ABV. That's all it is. And it was an 8, and most of your porters are going to be like around a 6, 6.5, or well, 5, between 5 and 6.5, probably around there.
Right.
So this was not the biggest porter I've ever had, but it was still good. It was still really, really good. Very consistent. So my let's see, we talked about ginger, we're good. I'm gonna continue the coffee thing going though.
Awesome.
I have a brown ale with coffee.
Oh.
This is Coffee Bender from Surly Brewing. I'm a big Surly fan.
Oh yeah, love those guys. Love those guys.
I got to go. I was on a business trip, and I got to go to the brewery, and I had no idea what I was walking into. Death metal playing in the background. Big ominous room, but cozy. There's fire everywhere. I have pictures. I should go find those pictures and post them.
Yeah, great looking place.
So this is a brown ale, which is I'm expecting a dirty coffee. That's what I'm expecting from this.
Okay.
Definitely a brown ale. A little bit more metallic tasting, that's kind of a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
But it has a little bit more of a metal taste to it. It's not bad at all. But it's definitely a brown, which it's not going to be as complex as the other, but you're still going to get the dirty malt taste to it. And the coffee that was added is strong. It's strong for this one too.
All right. I mean, I can dig it. Interesting that it's blended with coffee, and they still generally, when you blend it with coffee, you're going to get the higher ABV just because it has to sit for a while. But this one's only a 5.5, and that's interesting. So,
and I think it's because they went for a brown, or an English. It's more of an English ale, so they didn't go for, like what a porter or a stout would have even been. So
yeah,
I'm not real surprised by it, because most of your browns are going to be about that
right
ABV.
Right. They don't get up into the imperial. Well, I mean, sometimes they do, but interestingly enough, the hops that are in that beer, Columbus and then Willamette, and the Willamette hops come right from where I live. That's the Willamette Valley. Those hops were born and bred here. They're kind of a wild. It's kind of a wild hop.
That is cool.
But yeah, it's cool that you're drinking a beer that sort of started here. Interesting.
What do you got?
What do I got? I got so this is from Stormbreaker Brewing. Another great solid brewer. They really don't I haven't had a bad beer by them. They're up in Portland. They're doing it right. This is called their Winter Coat. Now, this is their 2022 Winter Coat. They've been doing the Winter Coat series for, at least that I'm aware of, for at least 5 years. It may even go back further than that, but this is the 2022 Winter Coat. Very interesting mix here. This is a winter warmer ale brewed with pomegranate and dark rum soaked figs. I had to get this beer just because of the weird flavor combo with pomegranate and rum soaked figs.
Okay.
Dark rum soaked fig. So I have no idea what I'm heading into. Like I said, I haven't had a bad beer by them. This might be their first. There it is, right in front. There you go.
It's Star-Lord's jacket.
But we'll see. It is Star-Lord's jacket. You're right. It is 100%.
Yeah. So if you look at the can, it's got Star-Lord's jacket on it. That's interesting that they chose that.
Oh,
So,
wow.
How is it?
Oh, wow. Very different. So this is definitely a winter warmer first. Then you get the fresh pomegranate, and then the figs kind of sweep in at the end. You get that sweet, and yeah, you can taste a little bit of rum in there. Not rum in the beer, but just that rum flavor.
Okay.
Boozy?
Wow,
yeah. No, not at all. It's only a 7.5.
Okay.
And no, not this is a real easy drinker. This is one of those dangerous beers you could have 3 or 4 and be like, wait, why am I so fucked up? Oh, because I had 4 7.5 percenters. Really interesting beer. I'm not sure I've had one like this, at least not for a long time.
So do you feel like that's your typical winter warmer taste though? Because it doesn't the what I'm reading, it's not your typical winter warmer.
It up front, you definitely get that maltiness because winter warmers have that malty, caramel sort of flavor. So yeah, that's there.
Are you
But then
getting
there's
the whole fruitcake package that
yes,
sometimes comes with
yes, there you go. That's what it is. It's a fruitcake flavor in this. Not overwhelmingly so, and not with the dumb little fucking gummies in there or whatever the hell they put. But no, this is that's exactly what it is. It just to go back to an earlier show, if you were gonna have sex with some food, this would be fucking a fruitcake right out of the oven.
A freshly baked fruitcake to stick your dick in. Wow.
Yeah, that sounds oddly transsexual, but it is what it is. Anyway, it's a great beer.
Fucking fruitcakes. If I could put that as a show title, I would.
Fucking fruitcakes. Yeah, might get flagged.
That's so loaded. That's such a
Oh,
loaded...
it is. And we don't mean it like that, but
no.
Someone somewhere is going to take it that way. Are you a fan of fruitcake, by the way?
No. Well, okay, so I enjoy some spice cakes. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Not a fruitcake.
Okay.
Per se.
I'm right there with you. Right there with you. Exactly what I would have just said. Exactly.
I like ginger, raisins. Not big on gingerbread either, though. If you are going to give me a bread or a cake with fruit in it, I'm all about it. But I don't want this plethora of fucked up, let's throw everything into this, make this dense,
right?
Doorstop.
Yeah.
That I have to try and cut into with a chainsaw, and that's what most fruit cakes end up being. So yeah,
oh God,
I'm not big on it.
I mean, not to go into a horror story or anything, but when I, at one of my previous jobs, one of the parents, working with kids, the families bring you food this time of year. They want to show their appreciation, so they bring food. And this one mom brought in. She's like, it's my grandmother's secret recipe. I know you're gonna roll your eyes because it's fruitcake, but you have to try it. I shit you not, dude. I had to get one of those electric fucking turkey carvers just to get through
those are
the
so
thing.
bad. Those are
oh
so
my
bad.
God. I couldn't, like, with an actual conventional knife, which I keep my knives sharp. My grandfather taught me how to sharpen knives. I keep my shit sharp. A traditional knife was not going to get through this thing. I had to go. I almost went and got the chainsaw. But anyway, so I got through this thing, and here's where the horror story comes in. Not only the mess that I made with this electric cutter getting through it, but then I tasted it. Awful, right? I mean, tears in my eyes. I questioned whether or not I wanted to swallow this thing, but I did. Dude, I was plugged up for 2 weeks.
Really?
I did not have a healthy movement for 2 weeks from one bite of this stuff. And I'm thinking, there's a family out there that eats this stuff like a whole loaf. I bet they don't shit for 6 months.
The word loaf is terrible.
Yeah, it is. Meatloaf is terrible. Right? Although we did discuss that, right? That I think that's like the ultimate safe word.
Loaf?
Meatloaf? No, meatloaf. because
I'll do anything
that's-
for sex. I'll do anything.
I'll
but
do
not
anything
that.
for
Yeah.
love, but not that.
Not
Right.
that.
So
Yeah,
you
right.
say meatloaf and they're like, okay, well, I crossed the line.
Oh,
But no, I
shit.
agree with you. I think the word loaf is right up there with, moist. What are some other ones like?
We gotta ask Hefe that when he comes back on.
Like the word that he hates to say the most?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loaf is up there for me. Moist. I say moist to make others cringe.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing that, which that says a lot about me, how mature I am. But yeah.
Dude, and I'll tell you, this is kind of this might be a leap, but stick with me here. One of the reasons I don't like the word loaf is because of the word loafer. Because I've hung around way too many people who wear loafers with no socks. And the stench that those things build up. So then when someone's like, oh yeah, come over to our house, we're going to have meatloaf. All I can picture is this old, dirty, rotten fucking shoe. And I'm not eating that. I'm not eating it.
In the 20 years that I have been cooking at my home for my family, I have never made meatloaf once.
Good, man. Good for you.
I feel like I need to keep that streak going. Just saying.
I get it. I get meatloafs. In fact, Hefe's mom, that was about one of the only meatloafs that I've ever actually bitten into and enjoyed. I get it. Most meatloaf I've tried, I had to drown in ketchup or some other such sauce. Steak sauce is the best.
It totally is. But isn't that weird though? Like, what do you actually put on top of it? Because some people put ketchup, some people put barbecue sauce. It's like,
yeah,
like I have to glaze the loaf.
Right. Now
it's a very weird thing to do.
Right. It is. I mean, why would you have to have so much, dipping material or coverage? Because the thing is so bad. I mean, the meatloaf we had in the military. Oh God.
It's got to be cheap to make. It's got to be
that's
cheap
it.
to make.
Yeah, they took all the leftovers, all the shit that was going to go bad next week. They threw it all into a loaf, and they baked it.
So that's really what we just learned from fruitcakes and meatloafs. It's really just the stuff that you have left over. You just throw it into a pan and put it in a loaf and then give it to somebody.
Yep.
That's what comes. All right. You want to talk about some fraud? We got a lot of fraud this week that hit the fan.
God, I mean, or is still hitting the fan.
Oh,
in the case of FTX. But yeah, let's talk about SBF.
So
this fucktwat.
So he was finally caught, or I guess taken into custody at least. I mean, not
right.
When I say caught, it sounds like he was on a lam, right? Or like he was like trying to get away, and he wasn't.
He was in
his penthouse on the Bahamas, and now he's in the Bahamas in jail. They took him into custody for fraud.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
But we were really worried about that, right? Like, this guy's going to get off scot-free, and they're not going to do a goddamn thing to him. This past week, they were talking about him not going and actually testifying in front of Congress.
Right. And
Okay.
I wonder what changed. Do we know what changed? Because this was all in the same week.
You're absolutely right. I don't know what the change was, but when this broke, right after this broke, there was a massive takedown for pump and dump artists.
Oh,
so for me, when I'm doing the math, we've got the SEC going crazy, the feds are going crazy, and everybody's cracking down on anybody who made a ton of money during COVID. That's the only thing I can come to as far as what changed. They decided this is going to be the week that we're going to go and take some motherfuckers down.
And I'm all about that. Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF for short. I love it. Former FTX CEO SBF. Jesus Christ, can we have any more fucking acronyms here? This guy, and if you all haven't heard by now or done the research, he's a piece of shit on every level. A cheater, a fraud, all of those things. And he wasn't going to be tried. Remember, we weren't sure. At one point, people thought he was headed down to Argentina, a non-extraditiary country.
Yep.
And then we find out, no, he's literally sitting on a beach in his home in the Bahamas. And so they found him, they got him. I don't know what's going to come of this. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either way. I wouldn't be surprised if he got, the death penalty and he, lethal injection next year, or if they let him go. Either way, whatever. But you're right. The SEC seems to have gotten a wild hair up their ass, and they're now just going to go after everybody that's done wrong in the last, like you said, like 3 years COVID time. And I'm all for it. Fraud hurts everybody except, the people who make that money, and fuck those guys.
Nope. Totally.
We have a Hefe sighting,
yeah,
by the way.
We do have a Hefe sighting.
Yeah.
Hefe, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Doing all right.
Good.
Hey, what's your favorite Christmas song of all time?
Oh, George Michael's Last Christmas.
Oh, wow.
I was thinking that the other day. My wife was wrapping presents and she had Christmas music on. That's her thing. And yeah, that's it. Kind of sad. You just unzip?
I zipped up, actually.
Oh, okay. Because if you're unzipping for George Michael,
wouldn't be his first rodeo.
What about you?
It would be my first rodeo, yes. Oh, the Christmas thing.
Yes, thank you.
My favorite is "Someday at Christmas" by Stevie Wonder.
Oh, okay. All right. What about you, Fitz?
I'm actually I think it's just the Christmas song, right? Chestnuts Roasting by an Open Fire.
Oh, Nat King Cole. Yeah.
Nat King Cole, thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my favorite. It was my grandma's favorite, my mom's favorite, and we'd have that thing on repeat. Over at my grandma's house, listen to that thing. And the beginning with I guess it's probably violins that you hear in the very beginning of the song. I hear that and I just melt. I'm like, okay, I'm in the mood for fucking Christmas now. But I both of the ones that you both said those are great picks. I'm into both of those. I'm not a huge Christmas music guy, but there's a time and a place for it. And when I'm in the mood, both of you, I would put both of those songs on my list for sure.
I'm not a big fan of the new Christmas songs. So like if you like Michael Bublé did one, I don't care. Bublé, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, I'm not a big Michael Bublé fan. But the classics though, seriously, those are my jam. I can listen to the classics like all the time.
Yeah.
My favorite, and I think on the whole, I agree with you. Like Mariah Carey and all that. I'm sorry, I can't. I don't. But in a very, very special Christmas, I think it was number 3. It was whichever one was like the gold color, the tan gold color. The Smashing Pumpkins did a song called Christmas Time. And I fucking love that. It's just such a great, and the fact that it's them also makes it better, but it's just a really great Christmas song. Very original. So some modern stuff I can get into, but I'm with you. I'd give me the classics.
Yeah. So I know we've talked, and I think we've talked about it on here. I'm not positive, but one of the sexiest voices ever for me is Eartha Kitt.
Oh God, yeah.
And her version of Santa Baby.
Yeah.
There's gonna be banging.
I'm tingling in the nether regions right now just thinking about it. That's a good call.
Hefe, do you ever throw on music when you're getting it on? Or do you just like a silent night guy?
Like with a woman?
Yes.
No, you could put on mood music when you're just by yourself. Absolutely.
When I'm with Rosie.
yeah. When you're with Rosie.
Not really. Only to attempt to drown out some sound. When that's needed back in the day. But never as a conduit or anything like that.
I will say, I like music. I've got a soundtrack playing in the back of my head all the time. And now whether that's actual music that I'm playing out loud or whether it's just in the back of my head, there's always some sort of soundtrack. I think I watched way too much Iron Eagle when I was a kid. Right. And so, every time it was time to go kick ass or go do something, you
Best
push
soundtrack
play on
ever.
yeah, right. And so, but I will tell you, I had a run there at the end of high school and then into our early 20s where if I put on Mazzy Star, it was I was guaranteed to get some that night. It was a fucking deal closer. And I just wonder how many people lost their virginity to Mazzy Star.
What was it? Fade Into You that you were?
Oh yeah. You start with that
pretty
one.
Much had to,
yeah. But with that whole album, pretty much was a panty dropper.
Nice.
Yeah.
I usually play something when I'm looking for sexy time. I usually play like some Weird Al.
Good call.
Usually maybe some Eat It.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. So classic Weird Al.
Yeah, classic Weird Al. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because some of his newer stuff. You know what else was a weird little turn on? And I won't mention any names here, but one of my significant others, she loved Nina Simone.
Oh yeah.
And so you put on some Nina Simone, and we just you give eyes across the room. It's like, oh, it's on. It's like Barry White kind of stuff.
Somebody's getting plowed. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that I think music can really be a mood setter. I think also some people see it as a turnoff. So you can go either way on it.
Yeah, I think it really depends. It really, really, really depends. This is going to be weird, but actually, Rogue One. Okay.
Great soundtrack.
Well, so if one of us puts on the movie Rogue One, that's
on.
it. Yeah. It's I don't know why. It's like the chosen movie.
Yep.
Yeah. There's nothing sexy about it. It's easy for me to ignore. That's for damn sure. But But yeah, that's I don't know. That for whatever reason that's a. Yeah.
The two main characters in that, I mean, they're both pretty easy on the eyes. I don't remember the girl's name, but the dude that played Cassian, I mean, they're I could see that. Yep. And I also, I mean, I don't know. Some people, this might be, I mean, it's not highly controversial, but this might be a hot take. But I actually study better and concentrate better when I have some sort of music on in the background, and
right.
Usually classical. Although like that, the story we did a few months back about Lo-Fi Girl,
right.
I've been really getting into that. I'll have that on in the background, but then also like I'll just put on the Jurassic Park soundtrack. Or the Star Wars soundtracks. So like just classical, it kind of takes me back to that mood and that feeling, but I don't have to watch anything. I don't have to think about anything. It just kind of puts me there.
Right.
So
Hefe, we had a question earlier. What's your least favorite word? Like what word like this pisses you off?
Well, as of last week, it's lambasted.
Oh, really?
No. My least favorite word.
We talked about moist and we talked about loaf. Loaf is a terrible word.
Oh man, I don't know if I have a least favorite word. No, I don't think I have one. I'll have to come up with one by next week.
All right. Well, you think about it.
So you got moist and loaf?
Moist and loaf.
Another word I don't really like, and I'm not sure why, but I was just sitting here thinking about it. Because if you had just cold called me and was like, hey, what's your least favorite word? Up there in my top 2 or 3 would be the word teeth. I don't like saying the word teeth. I don't like teeth. I don't like teeth on me. I don't like to be bitten. I don't like to bite other people. And I certainly don't want to watch someone else bite someone else.
And you also don't like the sound of chewing, right?
I do not. I have a mastication issue.
Okay. I hadn't thought about teeth. The acronym NASA drives me fucking insane.
Dude, we are so weird.
We're fucking out there.
We are so weird.
I think it's it's a sign that we overthink shit way too much.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely guilty. So how, has the night picked up at all, Hefe?
Not really. It's been kind of mellow. But I'm about to go into a allegedly nice little group of tables, so see how it goes. But it is a 4-ball, which what does that tell you, Steve? How long am I going to be out there?
You're going to be out there for approximately 80 minutes.
80 minutes.
Right?
Right.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yep.
You know, someone's been paying attention.
I'm trying. I'm putting an effort.
You know what, McShane? I think for that you deserve a cheers. My first cheers of the night is going out to McShane for knowing how long each ball lasts inside of Hefe.
Thank you.
Or whatever. Wait, what are we talking about?
Hefe's balls.
Right.
Gold star for Steve.
Yep. It's going to come in really handy when I'm waiting tables there and showing off my cleavage.
Dude, speaking of cleavage, I like it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. True confessions.
I had a story and I thought better of it. I will tell you guys that story off air.
All right. That's Whiskey After Dark.
Yeah, sorry, listeners. I was gonna go there and then I thought better of it.
So we need that should be our paid content. We should do some paid content. That's really
good stuff.
Yeah, the really good stuff or bad stuff. I don't know. We're going with
God.
That. Oh.
Okay.
Hey, did you guys see that football game today? The biggest regular season comeback in NFL history?
No.
Did not
what
watch
happened?
it. I heard about it.
Yeah, the Vikings were down 33-0 against the Colts at halftime and came back and won 39-36 in overtime.
Holy shit. Wow.
You know,
that's incredible.
I had $10 on a parlay that they fucked up. I had 3.5 and they won by 3.
I had the under, so
yeah, that got wrecked. Jesus, that got destroyed.
Vegas always knows.
We both got railed.
What was the under at? 46 or something?
47.5, I think.
Yeah, that got destroyed. Shit.
Yeah.
God damn. I mean, that's 72 points scored just to win by a field goal. That's crazy.
Nope.
Wow.
That Colts coach, I mean, it's a interim, I think, but he
is now.
Yeah, he's not going to be around. How do you blow a 33-point lead?
I don't know, but it's
dude. If you just ran the ball,
yeah,
just give it to your running back and let him churn it out.
Get a first down here and there.
Yep. Burn the clock. Wow. Well, good for them.
I gotta go.
All right, Hefe. Have a good night, man.
All right, see you guys
later.
All right, you found something that was creepy as fuck.
To put it mildly.
You know what? I didn't post your girl. I'm calling her your girl because you found her. What is it? What is her name? It's she's
great
on
question.
TikTok.
Efforting.
It's let me get back here.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. Okay. Why are you doing this to me? There we go. Let's see if I can find her. I really like her videos. She always just takes kind of one thing, and just, well, for Hefe's benefit, she lambasts it, really picks it apart. So she's the comment section WBC. is her handle on TikTok. No, she was an actress at one point. I don't know if an aspiring actress is the right way to put it, because she did a few like low budget movies, I think. She's just beautiful. But what's awesome about her is that I think probably the acting thing, she was like, this is going to be a dead end, because she has a really sharp mind. So she found another way. So now she just takes these ridiculous fucking news stories that come up, and she lets her gigantic brain just dissect it and eviscerate it. And I really like watching her. She's got some really good opinions, not necessarily that I agree with her all the time, but she makes good points. So anyway.
All right, so this is going to be all about this thing called Ectolife. Basically, what we've got is the idea is that we're at a point in time where we can go ahead and have a surrogate mechanical AI, if you will.
Dude, just say
wombs.
Just say it. It's the fucking Matrix.
It is the fucking Matrix.
Picture the fucking farms, the human farms, and those little pods that everybody was in, all the way from babies. That's what this shit looks like. That's what this shit looks like.
Let me go and let her go for a second. We'll let her go and set it up for us.
Yep.
Don't really have a great way to intro this. Just watch it.
Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility. Ectolife allows infertile couple to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents of their own offspring. The facility features 75 highly equipped labs. Each state-of-the-art lab can accommodate up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus.
Yeah, replicating, but it's not the same. It never will be.
The artificial intelligence-based system also monitors the physical features of your baby and reports any potential genetic abnormalities. These
part is
data are
rich.
sent directly to your phone, so you can track your baby's health from the comfort of your zone.
Oh yeah, while you're tracking your Amazon package, you can log on to ecnonetbaby.com and track your fetus. So freaking weird.
A special section in the app allows you to watch a time-lapse of your baby's growth and share it directly with your loved ones. You can also directly sing to your baby
They've
and
thought of
make them
everything.
familiar with your voice before birth. Ectolife uses highly efficient, clean, renewable energy consisting of solar and wind power.
Hey, you know what doesn't have a carbon footprint? A woman actually getting pregnant and having a baby. The lights are always on in a woman's uterus.
To stand out and have a brighter future, our Elite package offers you the opportunity to genetically engineer the embryo before implanting it into the artificial womb.
God, it's just so crazy. I can't. This was
All right, so she goes on to tear it apart, which I enjoyed. So the
Oh,
comment section with WBC, go check her out. Highly suggest it. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, for the idea, I don't think we're far off from this.
No,
I
no,
really
we're
don't
not.
think we are.
Going on the company's website, they are talking about having facilities like this in as little as 10 years. And I just quickly in that video, I didn't catch it the first time I watched the video, but they mentioned some numbers. They mentioned that they have up to 75 sites with 400, with each site able to carry 400 of these fetuses. So that is 30,000 fetuses,
right?
That we could have just incubating in these weird pods.
Right. And it's just to be clear with everybody, this isn't something that's happening yet. I mean,
no, we
don't think it's happening yet. It might be happening
hope.
someplace.
Yeah.
But I mean, in this, honestly, it was a movie. It was some art. That's what it was. But this is also done by a biologist. Okay, this guy is actually, I think he's a doctor, isn't he?
Yeah.
Or a microbiologist.
Yeah, he's
one of the two.
Yeah, and he was one of the guys that worked on the that sheep that they grew in a bag. He's one of the guys that worked on that. So this is that guy. This is that guy.
you have this room, and we're watching it now. This will be in show notes. You guys can go and take a look at it. They're pods. Your kid grows for 9 months in the pod, and then they've got this thing in the middle of the room that feeds them, that gets rid of their waste, protects them as far as, you know, making sure that their blood is filtered and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it actually simulates the whole pregnancy process.
Yeah.
It's creepy as fuck. It really, really is. It's just disturbing. And I don't know whether it's the concept I don't know is that disturbing. It's because of how just blatantly obvious where our technology is, and that this doesn't seem like a stretch at all. It's like we don't want to think about this, but here we are.
Yeah. Well, and you know, you talk about, you know, the whole, I guess it's a conspiracy theory, but really for me, it's not a theory anymore. It's what happens. But, you know, they use Hollywood to like introduce us to these ideas so that we get used to them, because they're going to be a reality sooner or later. And so get used to the fact that you might be growing babies in pods. Get used to the fact that machines might be running the world, all that stuff. So no, I don't think we're that far off from something like this. And I'll tell you, so they were talking about that this is for, at least for now, and this is how they're selling it to the public, that this is for people who can't have babies naturally, right? One or both of the partners are having some issues, or maybe it's a lesbian couple or a gay couple. Okay. What scares me is that they, in the same breath, talk about genetically engineering. And go back and listen to the video, guys. That's what they said. Those were the words they said. You can genetically engineer your baby to have certain qualities. And to me, part of the whole richness of the human experience is having to deal with the cards you've been dealt. I mean, my God, McShane, if you and I had both been born, 6'5", fucking Adonis bodies, perfect Ken doll faces, would we have the depth of personality we have right now? Would we have the intelligence we have right now when everything comes easy to us? Would there be musicians? Would there be, heartbroken poets? Would there be, the M&Ms of the world? The dude can't read. He can't read. He's sucked in school. So what did he do? He fucking became a wordsmith. So I don't know. This is fucking nuts.
Flaws are what make us human.
Right.
And everything that I heard here was I can go ahead and genetically make a perfect individual. Now, that individual still has to be able to, use all those gifts. So there is that. But still, it's not... we know that CRISPR has been used for lots of things.
Yeah, you're right. It has. And is being used right now.
There is something inviting about being able to create a human and make sure that they are not going to have any deficient genes. Just think about it. They are no longer going to have a predisposition for cancer. Because of evolution, I'm getting rid of cancer because I'm just breeding kids that are unable to have that gene.
And I totally hear you on that. You're going way highbrow. You're assuming the best in people.
Oh, absolutely.
What if they also wanted to say, I don't want my child going through what I went through as a child. So I don't want them to be black. I want them to be white. Please change that.
Totally do that.
And
or
now
what are make every
about?
one of them is blonde-haired, blue-eyed.
Yeah.
Go the Nazi route with it. We can totally go that route too.
Yep. Eugenics and everything else.
I mean, it's a huge, super deep concept. And honestly, what sparked all of this is obviously we're talking about a farm. It's a farm for
people. A farm for
embryos.
people.
It's an embryo farm. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And this is totally done for shock value, and and that you do have a great point that the government and people and they make sure that we're gonna go ahead and make sure that we brace you for this because this is all gonna happen. They even go as far as to justify it by saying that this can be used in areas of the world that have very low birth totals. Japan, for instance, fertility's dropped 50%.
Yeah. Right. That's
the
the point I was going to bring up. That's I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
And this has been a theme that's come out over the last year and a half. I mean, it was there before, but it's really starting to become, there's a lot more of a factor behind that now.
Yeah.
So when you start thinking about this, being able to crank out 30,000 people a year at one of those sites, how many sites do you have around the country? 75. You do the math.
Yeah.
Let's do the math. Hold on.
And they just showed on there that you can control things. This was the list: skin tone, eye color, hair color, intelligence, strength. So what? So we're going to have an Olympics and the playing field is supposed to be even, except that I'm a genetically engineered fetus. And athletically, I'm superior to everybody who was naturally born because I was engineered to be that way. I mean, this would be an end to modern society as we know it. And I'm not saying that we're not due. We definitely are. What would else? The other thing would be weird was, you and your wife go in and you want a specific kind of baby. And then me and my wife go in and we want a specific kind of baby. And we both tweak the things enough that basically our kids are born looking like twins. Even though they're genetically completely different, we were able to tweak things enough that they both come out blonde hair, blue eyed, 6'2", with an IQ over 130.
Right.
I mean, that would be fucking weird too. You're going to have all these. I mean, we're talking about the decrease of the elimination of variety.
Yeah.
Very weird. Very weird that people are. I'm sure someone out there is watching this video right now and getting really excited. And you and I are sitting here going, this is fucking weird.
It is fucking weird. But now think about this. You can crank out 2.25 million people a year.
Jesus.
That are absolutely perfect. Allegedly.
Quote unquote. Yeah.
Now let's go ahead and take this to a totally different direction. Why can't you make super soldiers this way?
Well, China's already started that, allegedly. They've already been doing some CRISPR stuff with soldiers. mRNA technology has already been used over there to make their soldiers more resilient to disease, more resilient to cold, stronger, faster, all those things. That's already been started. And then, you get into something like this where you could start them as kids. I mean, we're talking about stormtroopers then, dude.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about, stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Well, clones and then stormtroopers.
It's some heavy shit. And again, we know this is not allegedly being done right now. But
we hope
that's some heavy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was weird because when I found it, there was this moment of hesitation where I'm like,
do I want to do this?
Yeah, maybe we don't talk about this on the show, but it's too important, folks. It's something to think about. It's crazy, scary stuff.
That's
I
okay.
like this one.
This is happy.
Yeah.
This is happy stuff.
It is. Yeah.
Viagra lowers the risk of Alzheimer's by almost 70%, study says. Boners for brains, Fitz.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to my doctor. I have to go to my doctor this week. We got to talk about some blood work that I had. I'm going to ask him, hey, I want to check. I want to see, is this something I should be looking at here? I don't want Alzheimer's, but I'm all about boners. So is this something I should go ahead and get into?
Yeah, I mean, this sounds like a win-win, honestly. right? I mean, you get to have great sex into your 70s, 80s, and plus you remember it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Right?
And you might even know who you're with.
Right.
Although, wait a second. That might be kind of cool, too. Hold on. Let's think this through. If I get to say I'm with somebody different, or I'm meeting the person for the first time every time, I mean, it's still a win-win because I got a boner.
The thing is that the science around this stuff is just so it's really they're just shooting shotguns, and when a couple of pellets hit a target, they're like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's the thing. And really it's not, because even in this article, I thought it was interesting. They're talking about how this drug reduces the tau proteins, the DAO proteins that are really toxic to your neural connections. And then a little bit lower in the article, they say another recent study uncovered another unlikely weapon in the fight against dementia: coffee. Research suggests that coffee consumption may significantly decrease your chances of developing the disease. So what if I take Viagra with like 3 cups of coffee? Am I immune?
You should be.
They don't know what the
and you've got energy like you wouldn't believe. And and a dinger ready to match it.
You're going to fuck like a bunny for like 6 hours straight, and then you're going to collapse from a heart attack. But hey, Alzheimer's didn't get you.
That's right. Alzheimer's didn't get you. Your high cholesterol did.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I mean, again, I'm with you. I'm willing to fuck my brains out if that's going to save my brain. Right? I mean, that sounds counterintuitive,
Absolutely.
but I'm willing to go for the Viagra route if that's what's going to save me and my pecker.
Right.
Right. But there's no proof in this article. There's no the study was really.
Well, it was in Nature, and I looked at the article, and I was okay with the article. I was okay with the article.
For sure.
It was in Nature, so I mean, it's legit. But
I'm not saying it's not legit. I'm saying there's holes. That's all.
Oh, the article was it was a hack article. If you want to go listen, go read the nature.com article. You guys can go and take a look at that, and you're going to get lost in the science, but it's worth doing.
I mean, because so the holes in the actual study, and again, I'm not going to get too geeky here, but they don't ever clarify if these were guys who had ED, and so that's why they were taking Viagra, and then they also found that they didn't have Alzheimer's. So is there a link between ED and Alzheimer's, that if you have ED, you're not going to get Alzheimer's? I mean, we don't know that Viagra was the difference maker, I guess is what I'm saying.
But what we do know is that Viagra is made by Pfizer.
Bingo. And Pfizer can do no wrong. We know that. I mean, they don't make anything that's harmful to people.
You know they had to pump this because of that. You know that they had to go ahead and connect the two.
And that's why in big scientific journals like Nature, Scientific American, big magazines like that, you got to take it with a grain of salt, guys. Yes, they're well known in the community, but because they're well known, that means they're well read, which means there's a lot of money in the fact that they can put something like this out. Crazy.
It is interesting. It is interesting.
What else we got here?
Indian Fight Club. We thought that was interesting.
Yeah, let's hit that. Let's make that our last story of the evening. I think we're
all right. Yeah,
we're about 2 hours in here.
Yeah, we're.
But this is worth talking about because, and I love that you named it China India Fight Club, because that's basically what happened.
So on the border between India and China, they have skirmishes occasionally. It's both countries. There's no love lost.
Oh no.
The border changes daily, and during last week, over 300 Chinese soldiers and about 150 Indian soldiers were involved in a clash. Stone and fist fighting.
I mean, this was right back to the Stone Ages.
Well, if anybody gets shot, it's on.
Right.
So
And
at
they know
least they're
this.
like, you know what? Fuck it. All right. You know what? We'll go hand to hand then. I'll take you on.
Yeah.
Which is there's something beautiful about that. I kind of
yes.
loved it. I really
Couldn't
did.
agree more. Couldn't agree more. Like they're settling this like soldiers should. Like let's fucking fight this out, but not kill each other. Let's just like whatever's around, whatever nature is around. If you can pick up a rock, fucking throw a rock. If you can find a stick, let's stick fight. I mean, it is really badass. I'm totally there with you. I think this is the way wars should be fought.
Right?
We've gotten so good at killing each other and perfecting that art that why don't we go back to mano y mano? You know, everybody line up. There's a line drawn in the sand.
Yeah.
Somebody crosses that line and it's on. And it's a fucking full-on 250 person bar fight.
Yeah, that really would do something because there's something personal about that.
Absolutely.
There is a intimate ownership that comes with actually getting punched in the mouth.
Yep.
And this was 300 Chinese soldiers and about 150 Indian soldiers. The Indians won.
Yep.
They took 22 Chinese soldiers hostage. Or not hostage. They captured them. Sorry, not hostage.
Yeah.
Nobody died.
Right.
Nobody died. You know, and the hostages or the captured soldiers, the POWs, are only there for 5 minutes. They let them go. But the point was taken, right?
Yep.
Yep. That was probably my most fun story of the week, and nobody died doing it. That's
totally
fantastic.
Totally. And
that's
it was
fantastic.
like, it was basically, I mean, you could have taken this story and said it happened on the streets of LA, right? Like, don't fuck with my crew. We won't fuck with your crew kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like LA back in the 60s, 70s, not when, you know, the gangs started getting AK-47s and, you know, machine guns. I also love that this fight took place at an elevation of roughly 16,500 feet. I mean, we're up in the Himalayas
mountains
here, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you've not ever been at elevation, then you don't know. But I've been at elevation and you can't fucking breathe unless you live up there. And that's your daily. And these guys do live up there.
Yep.
But if you're new to it, for 2 weeks, you're in bed with a headache and just struggling to get food to stay down. It's tough. And so the fact that they had an all-out brawl, which is exhausting, at 16,500 feet. Yeah, I'm with you, dude. This is one of the cooler stories that we found all week. And I'm not advocating for violence here, but I'm kind of a fan of wars being fought like this in the future.
Just
all I'm gonna
throw
say.
down.
Yep.
Your best against my best, and let's settle it, and then let's move on. Maybe some nice slap fighting or something like that. Have you seen that? Oh
yeah.
I have something I have to show you. Hold on.
Okay.
Have you ever seen
those
this?
slapping competitions are fucking brutal.
Well, this is brutal. Have you ever seen chess boxing?
Oh yeah, we talked about it on the show.
Did we talk about it?
We did. Yes, we did talk about it on the show a few months back. Actually, maybe even like a year ago or something. It was a while back, but yes, this is a thing, and it's fucking badass.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, the Russians.
So apparently, a timer rings, and they get up and punch each other in the face. This is the sport of kings. This is chess boxing. 2 fighters, 11 alternating rounds of speed chess and boxing. 1 victor. It's been around in this form since 2003. I had no idea.
Yeah.
No idea. And there
we
was some
talked
chicks
about it on the
last
show.
week. Yeah. I had no idea that this was even a thing. So you beat each other up, and then you go and try to beat each other with your brains. That's just unreal.
Yeah, and you can win either way, which is what I love about it. Is if you get checkmate, then no more boxing. If you knock someone out in the ring, no more chess. I mean, so you have to be a well-conditioned athlete, or at least a knowledgeable fighter, in order to fucking hang in there and stick it out. But you also have to be able to be a knowledgeable chess player. I mean, is there anything that's more quintessentially Russian than this?
No.
Because the Russians they love chess. I mean, they had
totally
the champion for the 80s and most of the 90s. And And then on top of it, we're going to fucking brawl it out. And they wear costumes and shit too.
Yeah, and these guys are lathered up. I mean, it's not like...
they're going for it. And I'm just, not everybody's been hit in the mouth or been hit hard enough in the head that your bell gets rung. But I can't imagine these guys going in, swinging full tilt at each other. And then you get back up. All right. The count of 10 didn't go off. You get back up on 8, but then you got to go play chess. You gotta get your wits about you and stop the ringing in your ears, get your thoughts collected, and go play an actual chess game.
And
so it's
guys, and these guys they're shaking hands like afterwards. You're like, great match. Like it was like a fucking a gentleman's sport.
It would be fun. Actually, that would be fun to do because no one's going to actually get physically, you're not going to lose your life doing this. Nobody's a professional boxer. But at the same time, you're just kind of matching wits and physicality against another dude. And say what you want, but that's 80% of the reason that we always went out and played flag football. It wasn't, yes, it was for the football, but it was really the competition and to see if we could best another team.
Yeah. And the camaraderie and being,
absolutely.
I totally agree. Anyway, I that just came to mind after the fight, the Chinese India Fight Club. So
yeah.
All right, let's throw it out to our sponsors real quick. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up, shall we?
Excellent.
All right, Fitz. What beer are you taking to bed?
Man, it's a tough one. I've actually been dreading this question all night. I'm gonna have to go with the Gingerbread Yeti. I think everybody can tell by my review how much I loved that beer. But that is not to take anything away from Stormbreaker's addition to the evening. Another solid beer, incredible, very different though. I think that's the big difference is the Yeti, I kind of knew what to expect, even though it was different. It was gingerbread. I kind of knew what to expect going in. With that Stormbreaker, it's just a very different beer. And I think, it would definitely be one that would beat a lot of other beers out there. But just tonight, the Gingerbread Yeti was a little bit better. So that's the one I'm taking to bed. But maybe I'm looking at a threesome tonight. I don't know. It's I'm kind of feeling it. What about you?
I actually like the Surly one better.
Nice.
And it's very, very close. I enjoyed the brown. I enjoyed the coffee, the aroma. It was just a much more pleasant experience. I totally get the bacon and eggs though, and then just keep it in the fridge and just have it ready because it was a great imperial. But that's Surly Brewing. It's just such a well done beer. Surly does some fantastic beers, and
they really do.
Not to knock Pizza Port at all, because Pizza Port's really, really solid. In fact, there's Pizza Port, and then there's their offshoot, and I can't. It's a huge esoteric brand. I can't think of the name of it now, but they do some really, really great beers. But I like Surly's Coffee Bender. And the nice thing was that there's nothing super unique about either of these beers. You can get all these year round, so they're year round beers. So it was a totally fair competition, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I think the real lesson here is we didn't have a bad beer tonight. I mean, we both really enjoyed both our beers. So, as always, guys, get out there, try some new stuff. I really appreciate all the shout outs we've been getting on Twitter with people trying some new beers, getting outside of their comfort zone. That's what McShane and I try and do every week, although we do have some standbys that we definitely know we're going to like. But get out there, try new beer, get out of your comfort zone, get out of your box. And, enjoy life. And if you have a shitty beer, well, that's okay. Those come with the really good ones that you're going to find out there. So, thanks for listening, everybody. This was a lot of fun tonight. Next week, we've got our big Christmas show coming up. We're going to be recording on Christmas Eve. We may or may not have a special guest. I don't know. That's still up in the air. But that could be fun. And then definitely we're going to have some Christmas themed things going on, and we're not quite sure what that means, but it's going to be a great show to listen to. So tune in next week.
That sounds good. All right. Follow us on Twitter, whiskey_hell. whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com is the website. whiskeyhellpod.com. I'm sorry. whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com is the email. And whiskeyhellpod.com is the website if you guys want to go and check us out. We got some merch coming up soon. We've got a big announcement that's going to kick off season 3 for you guys. And we may go ahead and we might drop that. We might drop that next week. Should let's talk about that. We might go ahead and I know we're kind of teasing it now. We're going on a road trip, the three of us. Let's talk about that. We might just want to go and divulge our bulge, as it were.
Hey, ho. Yeah, I think next week, we don't have to give away all the details, but I think a really good sort of setup, because this really is going to kick off season 3 for us and kind of turn a new leaf with everything that we've had that's happened this year. We're just going to keep the podcast growing.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I think we talk about it next week, not in great detail, but just enough that people know what's going on, what our plans are, and how fucking awesome it's going to be.
Yep. It's going to be pretty fucking rad.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for listening, and thanks for all the feedback and chiming in with your thoughts. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz.
We'll talk to you soon.
That will do it for this week's show. Shocking how long they last each week. Remember to leave a review, and thanks for listening.